on Facebook Live. I
Yeah.
think they're shocked, and they're just like, they won't say anything.
Who is this guy?
Yeah, who are these people?
How many do we have on right now?
34.
Hey, that's
There's
awesome.
34. I think they're just shocked. You know, you would never see. You know, there's like 3 television stations in this town. Do you ever see them live on Facebook?
No.
No.
I don't know.
You ever see them at the crash scene?
That I do sometimes, but
Depending on the time. Anything after 11:30 now.
No, after 5.
So, well,
5 o'clock's it. It's the cutoff time. Y'all need to talk.
well,
wait. Send us a question. We'll answer.
We want to make sure people can hear this. Can anyone hear it? No, they're just kind of looking at it going, these guys are weird. Hey, can y'all tell Tarzan jokes? You know any jokes?
do we know any jokes?
Yeah.
You know a joke, John?
No.
No jokes?
No jokes. Nothing I can say on.
What did the buffalo tell his son before he dropped him off at school?
Ask John.
Hey, John, what did the buffalo tell his son when he left for school?
I don't know what.
Bye, son. Yeah.
We're dwindling down to 18. All right, Addison, you're my girl. She says yes. She can hear you.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank God.
we have connectivity.
All right.
Is there anything anybody would like to know about?
You got to tell them what y'all do. What do you do, John?
John, what do you do? What do you do after 5 o'clock?
After 5 o'clock, basically listen to the radio.
What radio? What radio you listen
Police
to?
scanners. Listen to scanners. Listen for anything kind of.
Scanner, John.
Listen for anything as far as any police activity, accidents, fire calls,
What are some of the things you would go to in those situations?
shots fired call.
What's the
structure
shots fired call?
What do you mean?
Shots fired calls is when someone reports shots fired, basically. Multiple shots fired where you have individuals who may be hurt or damage to property. That's when we go. We roll on those.
Hey, I got a question for you. Why don't you ever go to the shots fired call north of the loop?
We do if we hear them.
You do not. You intentionally don't go to anything north of the loop.
We definitely do cover everywhere around this area, especially north of the loop. That is a very, they actually give us a lot of content north of the loop.
Yeah. It also depends on what time it is. Sometimes we do miss a couple, but then we try to make up for it the next day. If we know about it, we will go after them.
What other things do you go to besides like a shots fired call?
Multi-vehicle accidents, structure fires. Thing that's been keeping us really busy lately has been multi-vehicle accidents.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, fatalities.
Yeah.
Describe the scene when you walk up to a multi-vehicle accident. What is it? What do you see what do you feel? What does it look like? What's the air like?
Thick. It's thick with energy. It's not positive energy. It's you've got SAPD, you've got fire department.
There's no sound. There is 2 sounds.
Is there sound?
How about now?
Hello, hello, hello. Mic check.
Let's keep it going.
Text message is saying there's no sound.
I'm showing I got full sound.
All right.
Okay, we got sound.
All right, we got sound.
Sorry, we're back now. We had some sound difficulties going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, going.
The show must
All right.
go on.
Where were we?
Oh, right. So anyway, so when you, at a carnage situation, I don't really view it as, I mean, most of my carnage I get during the day. It's not maybe a dark energy as much as just like one to protect more people from being in another accident mostly. Like there's plenty of times like recently in Lubbock where that semi truck went off the side of the road and hit that DPS trooper. Like those kinds of instances could be avoided just by, you know, the public being more aware of where the wrecks are and where accidents happen, and also just trying to keep not only the officers and things like that safe, but keeping the people from in the cars getting into another wreck and then another wreck and then another wreck and another wreck, and then you're there all day and roads are shut down. So being in carnage is not trying to blast people or anything like that. It's mostly just to show the public of what everything is and what's going on in town.
Top of mind awareness.
Top of mind awareness, but we don't really,
That's right.
like unless the police or the DPS reveal who the people are in the crash, we don't even say. We don't
Exactly.
No, yeah, we don't go after.
We
We
don't
don't go
even
after
ask
names.
those
We don't even
questions.
ask names. We just go after what was the accident
And
caused
then
by
that gets
that.
me in trouble because they say you're personifying the cars, and they go, "How could a Chevy pickup run off the road?"
Well-
it's the driver of the Chevy pickup that ran off the road, and what's his name? And then they get mad at me because I didn't know what his name was. Anyway.
On your side, though, when you have to write these carnage reports in the middle of the night, how does it in the office then at that time?
I don't even know if Manny can switch to my camera. I bet he can.
The struggle's been real.
The struggle's been real?
What do we got here? What do we got here?
Alright, so what you need to do is on this right here, you need to go to audio mixer, and you need to turn this
Still on?
bitch. Turn
Yeah.
cam link, right?
Yeah, we're all on.
Yeah, stay with us, folks. Stay with
Yes.
So we only have one camera, and it's always on, right there. So you have the volume over here.
Mm-hmm.
You can probably cut that down a little bit. There you go. Now we only have one camera that's feeding the
Right
audio,
on.
so it's coming off of your camera.
Okay,
Okay.
very cool. Well, basically, the whole point of this is for everybody to be aware of their surroundings, especially tonight when you're going out. Be mindful of everybody else around you.
Yeah.
We're losing our audience. We're down to 29.
Well,
Okay.
And no one's asking, oh, here we go. Sonia, where do you get your info when you report on a crash? John?
We get our info, the initial info, where the crashes are, stuff like
And
that.
why do you lie all the time?
We basically get information from sources that email me, text me, phone call me at 3 o'clock in the morning to tell me that there are accidents, or else we hear them off the scanner. Once we get on the scene, we go and we get a statement from the police officer and some eyewitness accounts. That's where we get all of our info from.
yeah, but mostly we like to just strictly go off of what, you know, the police officers or the fire department say. Official word goes a lot longer than, you know, hearsay or eye views and stuff like that.
They are the ones writing the reports.
Right.
That's the official reports that go into the documentation.
Exactly. If y'all have any more questions, send them in. Absolutely.
There you go.
Go ahead, take it away, Joe.
What do you mean? Did you switch it over to me?
Yeah, now we did.
It's over to me now?
Maybe.
There you go.
Yep. Oh wow! Hey, we got everybody on.
Do we have everyone now? No, just you and me?
Now we just got weird.
So this is behind, this is the producer's booth. This is the producer's
And then we can go on. We're just working a lot.
sound.
AFP, that's right.
AFB.
It's back on now. I don't know why.
Well, you got me behind y'all.
Like back there?
Yeah. Wave at Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Addison just called me Joe Hype. What the hell? Why are people so mean on our Facebook page? Matt, do you get offended by people on our Facebook page?
I do. Yeah. No, I don't really, though. People on our Facebook page are just people on social media.
It's just like that.
I get offended by the actual callers. Those are the people.
The people who call it.
The people who actually are about it and calling.
All right, so tell me about some callers into San Angelo.
Oh, there's been millions of callers into San Angelo.
What's the first thing they always do?
Yell.
No, the first person they ask for is the writer of that story.
Yeah, that's usually the first thing. They're usually pretty nice, pretty understanding people. They're all so great. They're great people. And But, I mean, I guess everyone is entitled to their opinion, and when they get written about or one of their loved ones get written about, it may be tough, but at the end of the day, it's all about if that person is a threat to the public or just the public needs to know about that, then, well, the public needs to know about that, and that's what we do here. So
Yep.
It's kind of what you have to just take in if that's your job, you know.
So, John, what's the first thing you do when you get in the office? You look at the jail logs?
No, the first thing I do is yeah, okay, right, you're right. I do look at the jail logs. Actually, I get in, check emails, check text messages, make sure we didn't miss anything overnight. Then, once we get settled in, look through everything, see who was arrested, see who wasn't arrested, see who was released, see if there's any press releases we may have missed from the night before or early in the morning. Just make sure we've got everything covered as fast as possible. And if there's anything that we need to address, we jump on it fast.
Hey, someone asked, Tanner King is asking, are you and Dusty still friends? He's asking if I'm still friends with Dusty. I don't even know Dusty.
Hey, Dusty Thompson.
Dusty Thompson.
Is that Dusty
Do
Thompson?
we need to go find Yantis and let him tell us about
that's a
Dusty
Yantis
Thompson.
question right
But,
there.
on the
Me
Dusty
personally,
Dusty Thompson.
I've
showed
only
up-
met him once.
You met him once?
Yeah.
When that day he came to our office?
The day he came to our office, yes.
Was that a special day for you?
I
That was
didn't
kind-
actually say hi to him. He just took a picture of my car and laughed and left. But that's okay.
That's funny. So
Yeah.
you think, I don't know what the heck Dusty was doing with our car, but I'm wondering if he, is it still going? Because
Yeah.
my browser just crashed.
Well,
Man.
No, we still going.
All right, good.
We still going. You know, the story that we did on Dusty Thompson, and people continuously ask us, is like, do we have it out for Dusty Thompson? But it seems like he's just an evolving story.
right.
And that's how things happen in journalism. Things are evolving stories. Now, Tremel Vasquez, y'all see this all the time. Talk about that. I mean,
There's some people that are like, it's not that it's because there are people that have stolen cattle before, and we have written a story about them.
Like 100 years ago.
Okay, but recently I read another story about someone else who stole some cattle.
Yeah, but she was just trying to get rent paid.
Right. But that story didn't go crazy and get get written again and again and again and again and again because the character of the story is not as interesting as the character in that story.
Dusty Thompson is interesting.
It's the individual.
It not just him, but the way his whole trial went about, basically.
What do you think about the Dusty Thompson stories?
It's an evolving situation.
You know, we had a lawyer, James Sadler, get on here, and he said that we were being, I guess, overly cruel in our headlines of Dusty Thompson. Talk about the headlines. You've written some headlines, Camel.
I've written a few headlines.
So what goes through your head when you're writing these headlines?
What is the actual story being told here?
Mm-hmm.
Not what's the softest way I can get this to somebody. How did it really raw truly happen? 100% happened. This is not. It doesn't need to be sugar coated. It doesn't need to be fluffed up. It's just how it happened. Like, it's just life. That's how it goes, and that's what I think people want to see.
So no fluffy headlines.
I'm not saying there can't be any fluff to it, but I'm saying if something happened to a certain extent, say it happened to that certain extent and not say, if there's 1,000 grams of meth that
In
got
other words, be
stolen,
be
don't
direct.
say,
Be direct. Don't skirt around the issue.
yeah.
So Trammell, why don't you put the name of the town in the headline?
So they'll click it. No, I'm just kidding. No.
No, seriously, everyone wants to have the name of the town in the headline.
Well, it's in the it's literally right here's the headline, and then on the Facebook right here it says the town. So I just don't feel like that's necessary because too long of a headline can make people not want to read it. Because my generation and like nowadays and the way Facebook works and the way that just the media works nowadays, you have a very, very short amount of time to get these people to read your stuff. So you can't let them read a 10-sentence headline because then that's all they're going to read anyways.
Yeah.
So you might as well put out the fast, most direct headline. Put them in
Tram, I'm
there.
gonna stop you right there because, I don't think we need to give away all of our tactics,
That's very true.
I'm
Yeah,
actually,
we don't want KLST having better headlines.
Yeah, that's right. But these are just minor details.
Minor detail, really, the secret sauce we have not told about
Yeah,
how we
that's
do
right.
our headlines. There is the secret sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
And we will not reveal that.
that's
All
right.
So we got a few comments here. King P. Walker Jr. So that is what John looks like in the daylight. I don't
Hey.
in the dark. Very good. Thank you, King P. Walker Jr. Angel Flores. But you never write facts, so how do you know exactly what happened? Question mark. So you don't put it in a headline to get views on your article? Question mark.
All right,
So-
let's go back to the facts thing. When people say we don't write the facts, explain again. I know we've already talked about it, but they may not be
How facts are getting is either
Obtained.
is either from straight from the police themselves, word for word recordings, written affidavits that are signed by all the 4 justices of the peace here in Tom Green County, or fire department, ambulances,
Direct interviews.
but all official word, no word of mouth, no hearsay. The thing is, we do report the facts, so that's kind of
So one of the things
It's
at a
comedy in
crash
general.
scene, at a crash scene, a lot of times the police officers themselves don't know exactly how the crash happened.
Yeah, they don't exactly know until a full investigation is done.
So
Yeah.
explain the whole. John, you've been around enough of these fatal crashes, like these really big fatal crashes. Explain the workflow that police go through on a fatal crash investigation.
Well, of course, after this fatal crash, they basically go through, call CID, they get detectives out there, photograph everything within a certain area of the accident scene, get witnesses' statements, they meticulously go over everything. We're talking positioning of cars, positioning of debris, anything that you can think of. Nowadays, they even launch a drone to get a picture of the whole scene at one time. Through this, it may take them anywhere from 30 minutes to a couple of hours to even determine who's at fault, if there is any determination right then and there. What they may do is have a general idea, this is what happened, this accident happened here, this is where it's coming out, we don't know who's at fault yet. And they will tell us.
Okay, so Angel Flores brings up another interesting point. He says, exactly my point, nobody knows exactly what happened, so you just write what you hear, not necessarily the facts like you say. Angel, I'm gonna stop you right there, my man. We are getting this information directly from the horse's mouth, directly
Yes.
from officials.
And
We're not making this up.
Yeah.
And it's really, we're not saying it. We're saying that the police or the affidavit or the fire department or the witnesses say these things. We are just a relay of what people are saying.
What
This
happens
is
is,
not our
we may not
opinion.
get the full statement from the police, but they will give us a partial. And then every statement that we get, they will tell us, this is an investigation, ongoing investigation, more coming in a press release. And we get press releases 90% of the time. Other times we have to chase it down and we'll get the full information.
Exactly.
And one of the issues is that, we're stuck in the middle. So we're relaying what the police or what the authorities are telling us to you, the audience. But a lot of times the police don't tell us everything either, particularly for a crime investigation. They're not going to tell us, hey, our confidential informant told us there was a whole bunch of meth in this house, and that's why we went and busted the door down. They're not going to tell you about the CI, but they might say, hey, we found so-and-so in there with a meth pipe, And that's all we're gonna get out of that story. And so if the story's big enough, what you'll see us do is we'll actually follow a lot of these cases into the courtroom. And that's where you get most of that's where you're gonna get all
The
of
juicy information.
Yeah, you're gonna get both sides and everything like that.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest detriments to all this is we are not out there to go interview the criminal, the guy that got arrested. We're not gonna go to the jailhouse and interview the guy who got arrested and get his side of the story. Number one, if he has a lawyer, the lawyer's gonna tell him not to talk to us. And number two is, it's not really relevant unless we're gonna follow the thing into courtroom. The reason why we reported the arrest is because we want the people, the public, to know who's in jail. The most important thing to know, who's in jail and why are they in jail? Because otherwise, you have this large police force that has the ability to take away your freedom. And I think it's important that people know who's in jail and why they're getting sent to jail.
Yep. Absolutely. And that's why every day you see a booking report. Every day. And there will be a booking report tomorrow. So all you people going to celebrate New Year's Eve, don't end up on the booking report tomorrow.
If you are on the booking report, make sure you smile.
Yeah, smile and you'll make the front page.
All right, so Angelo Flores. Maybe the guy in the back should write the stories. Just saying.
Who's the guy in the back?
So the guy in the back, I think he's referring to Mr. Hyde over here.
He does. That's
So-
Joe Hyde,
so
the person
Angelo
everyone
Hyde.
hates.
Yeah. Joe Hyde is the guy who writes the story. You may have read a few of those from time to time. So yeah, he's our publisher or chief officer here. So yeah.
Yeah, well, one of the reason why we don't write the stories is when we first started, we had a very tough competition with the San Angelo Standard Times, the local newspaper, and what we learned, the whole thing is a learning process. What we learned is that we were first to get the story up. We won all the views.
Yep.
All right, and so the whole deal is about speed. And so, you got to get the story up, and it's also about you guys. I mean, if there's 7 cop cars down at the end of your street, you want to know right now what the heck, well, at least what you know what's happening.
Yeah.
And that's what we do, and that's why we've been successful. It's the speed in which we get it out there. Well, the fastest way to get these stories up is to have a reporter at the scene delivering all the stuff to us via the cell phone, right? So they'll send us pictures. They send us the recorded statement of the police, and we have someone back in the office or at home, and they act as base. They call it the base reporter. And they write the story based on what's heard in the audio file that's sent, and they use the pictures to curate the story. And sometimes if they have questions, they'll call the reporter to the scene and get more information. But that's why we have a 2-reporter process for reporting all crime and crashes. And
really, that 2-reporter process may actually sometimes involve 3. And then that 3, people think this is a giant news organization. This is not a giant news organization. There, 3 people takes out 50% of our team.
Yep.
So, I mean,
It depends.
it takes a lot. It just takes a lot of,
Depends on the situation.
yeah, just really just being consistent. And that's really what we try to just be every day is consistent.
John, give an example where you might have 2 reporters in the field and 1 guy at the base. You remember any stories?
Huge fires. Fire downtown. Rosas, we had 2 people there. The warehouse fire downtown. I was there, and I think we had somebody else there briefly. We had to alternate. There was a fire on Loop 306 between an 18-wheeler and 2 vehicles. We actually rotated 2 individuals out of that one because halfway through it, we needed another camera.
Well, there was that Bailey Street murder, and at that time we had 2 people on this side of the block, another person on that side of the block. We had 2 people on computers back here, and we were pumping it out pretty quick. And everyone was really, I think, around town was aware of what was going on because of us, because of our ability to get there fast and have a lot of people there and get out our information as fast as we need to.
Talk about like crash scenes where people have confronted you. They see you there.
Those are always fun.
Be honest, Trevor.
Well, it's happened 2 or 3 times. John always seems to get away with it. They always just seem to come find me and yell at me, but I don't really I'm not gonna confront them back because there's officers right there, and if anyone's gonna get a story written about, it's not gonna be them, it'd be me.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I just kind of brushed off. People are in very hectic situations when I show up. So
it's a very highly emotional situation. These people really aren't thinking clearly.
yeah.
Hey, Trey Shannon says, my boy Matt with the clean Nike polo. Give
Hey.
me one.
Yeah, look at that. Hey, this is San Angelo live polo.
There's only one or two out there.
Yeah, that's very true.
Now, Tremble, you've also, I think you and I have gone out together and you've actually got the finger a few times.
Yeah, those are always fun. I always try to take a picture of those, but yeah.
No,
Man, you're the Dusty Thompson wave.
the worst one I've ever had is 3:00 in the morning on MLK Drive. Somebody had just drove a car to a house, and I was walking down the street taking pictures when I got confronted with an individual who said that we got everything wrong about his arrest, and he was completely innocent. That they framed him and everything else, and he was in my face about to clock me when luckily SAPD was on the scene. They're like, "Are you having trouble?" I'm like, "No, I'm fine." And then he left me alone. So it can get pretty bad. There are times when it can be.
But then there's also those times where it's really late at night and you're walking and you also see another guy that's walking and he goes, hey, at least they're not looking for us. And so starts walking away.
Yeah.
There's actually one story I remember that we provided both sides, all right? Because the guy who was accused, who was arrested, bailed out of jail, and he contacted me, and he says, man, you got to get our side of the story into this thing. And remember the front yard brawl? The front yard brawl? It was towards Great Creek. By the way, let's stop there for a second. We don't have anything against Great Creek, do we?
No, I was wearing a Grape Creek hat today. Creek, it says Creek. Across the front.
I mean, and I saw the Stremel, the creek, it was in green.
Yeah.
We're on a green screen, so
Yeah.
It would have been
Yeah.
it would have kind of, you couldn't see it, so.
For sure.
Nonetheless. Continue on, Tremel.
No, we don't have any problem with Grape Creek. Our other rider's from Grape Creek.
Yep.
Actually, Yantis is from Grape Creek too. Everyone's from Grape Creek around here.
Well, I'll link to it in our comments there about the shooting victim and the front yard brawl. It was pretty interesting. The whole interesting thing there is these guys wanted to have their side of the story told.
Uh-huh.
And so I was not busy that week, so I said, all right, I'll interview you. So I went to Shannon Hospital where one of the shooting victims was there. And we interviewed him. And this is not safe for work, so don't open this up on it. I'm gonna put it in the comments. But this is the other side of a crime story without going to court.
And what did that experience show you that you have not done it since that?
Well, first of all, there's hardly any appreciation, really. I mean, you sit there and claim, oh, all you do is report what the police tell you. Well, yeah, that's what we do. And then you never report our side of the story. Well, yeah, here we did. We reported your side of the story. Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone cared. And also, I think it showed that their side of the story really was kind of, the credibility was kind of not there, you know. Yeah. I mean, wouldn't you agree? I mean, you remember this? It was the girl that was shot in the stomach, and she was laying up in the hospital. And it was a very, very profanity-laced story. I probably shouldn't have put all the profanity in there, but I was just trying to show the whole thing there.
Well, if you're going to be
no, I'm not going to
be completely transparent.
King Walker, I am never going to wear a hat correctly anymore because I work with millennials. I'm just trying to fit in. carnage going on?
No, there was a nice country concert going on.
Country.
Yeah.
Oh, King Walker says we lost sound.
Yeah, we got it back.
Sounds back?
Are we back?
Sounds back. Hey, we're playing around with this live thing from our San Angelo Live studios we just built, so
Yeah, it's
I
freshly
appreciate-
renovated. It looks nice.
appreciate, yeah, I mean, putting that crime scene tape back there was real painful.
Yeah, it really took us like a couple hours.
Yeah. Yeah. So King Walker, we got sound back yet? King Walker, we got sound back yet? I guess.
Might want to type
Oh,
it.
now Shelby Hyde, my dear daughter, wants to have subtitles.
Oh, now we need subtitles.
Yeah, tell her to sit on it.
Yeah.
Well, you
You can, yeah, you can go for that one.
Anyway, more carnage stuff. Last year, this time, it was getting cold. And
Yeah.
within 2 days of New Year's Eve day, or New Year's Day, guess what happened? Ice everywhere.
Yeah.
John, talk about the first time we were covering an ice storm in San Angelo, Texas.
That was actually Thanksgiving.
Was it then?
Thanksgiving 2006.
No.
No, 2013.
13.
2013.
Thanksgiving 2013.
Me and you stayed. We were out there because it was supposed to get bad, and it didn't get bad. And then we decided to go home at midnight. And then at 12:02, that's when all the accidents started happening.
Yeah, they were all in the loop.
3 on the loop, and then by 3 o'clock in the morning,